1041. All right, we're just kind of range bound here a little bit. In market, kind of coming off of big sell-off on Friday, mainly due to the auto workers pending strike here. And the concern in the market is where it might take us as far as what effect it's going to have, obviously, on the market. This week, the Fed, you're right, is making their announcements. They start their meeting tomorrow, and they will have their decision on Wednesday, including their Q&A section. As the market upticks here a little bit, got a resistance here at the 05 area. Again, we have blue band and green band that's coming in there at 2-ish. Blue band and hourly at 3. So some areas of resistance up here, depending on how you scale into them. So yeah, the Fed is going to come out with its decision on interest rates. Again, most of the consensus is for them to not do anything. Let's see here, with the Federal Market Open Committee widely expected to keep rates unchanged at its meeting on Wednesday, investors and economists will keep their eye trained on the policymakers' economic projections that will be released at the same time. In addition, they'll be listening to any hints about the likely path at the following Fed meeting, especially the last one of the year on December 12th and 13th. Nearly all Fed officials have been repeating Fed Chairman Powell's mantra, higher for longer, but the summary of economic projections will offer a view on how high the central bank may go and for how long. Summary of economic projection, which is also releasing, I guess, the SEP, they call it. As the market tries to uptick a little bit, we get resistance at 05. We talked about the other levels of resistance there, 3 and 3-ish. Keep in mind that the projections do not represent decisions on the rate path. Rather, they reflect individual Fed members' expectations of how the economy and policy will unfold. In the June 23 SEP, summary of economic projections, the federal funds rate remained, median projection was 5.5 for the end of 2023 and 4.6 for the end of 2024. Its rate currently stands at 5.25 to 5.5. So we'll see. Overall, though, the economy has remained pretty resilient. The hard landing seems to be out of the cards for now, and can be difficult to predict over the long term, especially if the Fed is late to react to economic conditions. Remember, infamous transitory call of 2022. As a result, the central bank's dot plot for next year might be more cautious as it continues to play defense on inflation and resist signaling anything that might lead to financial markets get ahead of the Fed's on rate cuts. Yeah, they're not gonna say anything. Might be tacky. All right, again, we uptick here a little bit, a little resistance. Again, we different levels of resistance up here at 02 there, 03, 05 is our level. So whole bunch up here of resistance, how you manage your risk and how you enter your scale, all dependent on each individual risk tolerance. Bounced off at a 2 area quickly against our green band there. If you a little in our green band in our 5 minute, if you're a little aggressive, looking at the 05, you can see the blue band in our hourly coming in there at 3. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Let's see if we have any numbers coming out this morning. Housing market index is coming out here at 9 o'clock. A lot of housing stuff coming up this week. All right, nice rotation there against the green band area there at 02. Again, a lot of resistance between 2, 3, 5. So if you were so inclined, maybe you dip your toe there. All right, market coming back up here, and a little resistance. We have our resistance there at the 05. Talking about other little resistance areas around that area. The automakers, United Auto Workers strike against the big three. Detroit's big three automakers have entered its 4th day. Garnering support from President Biden and Democratic politicians, although negotiations remain deadlocked. A team from the White House who had already been engaged in parties by phone will reach Detroit early this week to mediate the negotiations. The strike is particularly important given the 2024 presidential race, as the UAW endorsement of any candidate could be a key in securing a blue-collar vote. Meanwhile, Stellantis has sweetened its contract proposal, although the UAW president said it's a no-go. And then Ford did lay off 600 workers at its Michigan plant because of the strike. So, all right, bond equities coming down here to the pivot area. And they're at 94, pivot here at 96. And it just really range bound here, nothing much going on. Did bounce there off of that 02 area. We discussed maybe a little bit of resistance up there, and I suggested how you scale in. It's all dependent on your risk tolerance. I'm trying to see what it wants to do here against the pivot area. Trying to just a little bit of a bounce here. All right, so talk about the Fed, see what's going to happen there. And it's going to be coming out on Wednesday. It's late in the afternoon, so hopefully we're done by then. But it's going to, the trade's going to be a little lackluster going into the decision. We do have the housing market index coming out here at 9 o'clock. Bonds are popping up here. And equities are dropping. Interesting. I haven't seen that reaction in a very long time as we quickly continue to downtick here, coming down to the 88 area. That's our next level of support. Kind of a little strange there. Bond rally, we downtick it. Sounds like the good old days. or I mean something is up. I don't know. All right? Just make sure you keep your stops in place. You never, we're always the last ones to find out when something's up or not. So can't, you know, you take any. You just got to just make sure you keep your stops in place and react to what the market is going to do next. That's all we can do. All right, we are got down to 90 there. We're looking at the 88 area. All right, we got down to 90 there. Looking at the 88. The bonds continue to get some legs here. We are coming back here to our pivot area. All right, coming back down here. Bonds continue to have some legs. We do have a number coming out here, housing index number at 9 o'clock. See what it wants to do here against the 88 area if we get down there. And like I said, I don't know what's going on, but make sure you keep your stops in place. All right, so again, a little housing index, housing market index coming out here at 9 o'clock. Let's see what it does to us. We did have a little rotation there against our marine band there at the 2 area. Mentioned that earlier. All right, just kind of hanging on the lows here a little bit. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'll repeat the levels again for those of you who might have missed them. Our pivot this morning is 44.96, 44.96. Support below at 88, 81, 74, 64, and 54. Upside resistance at 05, 14, 22, 30, and 41. All right, just chopping around here, getting back into the middle of the range there. All right, again, popping back up here to that pivot area. So we had 88 down there as support, got down to 90 and change, popped back up here a little. And now we're just kind of getting to the top of the range. Very neutral kind of trade. Patience is important here. All right, they got up to 97 there, right around our pivot there, 96. And going back down here, very, very choppy little trade, nothing much going on. We'll see if this number comes out here in about 5 minutes, gives us some impetus one way or the other. Be a little bit careful there at the 88 if you, obviously we didn't get filled, but if we go retest those new lows, All right, I do have a number coming out here momentarily. Getting a little bit of reaction here, going right back here to our pivot area. So it's kind of very quiet. It's in the offers, not really getting off the screen here. And you can always tell how important a number is by knowing the number of bids in the offers in the ladder ticket or the dome, how they take them away here a little bit as the number gets close. The number's out now. Not really any reaction to this number. The housing market index. Like I said, we have a lot of housing numbers to be released this week. All right, again, very, very quiet morning. It's a Monday. Monday's usually slow. Coming off of big Friday sell-off. Again, Friday, mostly that sell-off was due to the auto workers. So we'll see if that gets, I think, again, if it goes more than 10 days, the market's gonna react to that as well. Yeah, well, they have to. That's again, technology comes into play here. There's a whole bunch of stuff comes into play. Layoffs are going to be because of technology getting better and better. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See what. We'll see where it takes it. All right, back here at our pivots, kind of going nowhere fast here. All right, let's give you our levels that we gave out this morning. The market here is definitely range bound a little bit, even to 90, but pretty much popped up to that O2 area earlier this morning. We suggested a little bit of an opportunity there if you were a little aggressive for obvious reasons. For reasons, I should say, not obvious, but we're always need reasons to trade, and so that was our green band there coming in on our 5 minute was a reason to trade. Also, the blue band in our hourly was up at 03 at the time, so a couple of little layers of resistance out there, and then we had 05. Our pivot this morning is 44.90, 96. These are the levels that we gave out this morning as a guide to the day. I'll repeat the levels. Our pivot this morning was 44.96. We had resistance above at 05, 14, 22, 30, 41. Support below at 88, 81, 74, 64, and 54. All right, again, those levels are there. Give us areas that we're going to be focused on to trade, to find our setups, in addition to any price action opportunities that might occur. We are definitely range bound here. We got a tight little 10-point range. Again, we don't usually trade the range game, so not what we do. But definitely stuck in a little bit of a range here. We're down ticking here a little bit. A little support down here at the 88 area. All right. All right. We are back here at our pivot. Again, very neutral. Really have no opinion one way or the other. Market could go either way. Just you have to be a little bit patient here, unless you are a range player, but it's tough to, you just never know when they're going to break out. So we try to stay away from that range game, and we'll see where it brings us. Definitely stuck between 90 and even here, but again, not really too excited about one way or the other. Resistance up on top there at the 05. But like I said, there's a couple of areas of resistance above and down below 88. Very, very quiet morning. Very range bound kind of trade, kind of going nowhere fast. Again, if anybody has any questions about anything we do, please make sure you ask in the chat. All right, we uptick here a bit, looking for, we have the 05 area above, come and retest that 02 spike. You were so inclined, but look at the 05. You're a little bit more risk averse, depending on your risk tolerance. We did get right up to that 02 area again. Retested that little spike that it had early on this morning. Again, if you were a little aggressive, maybe you were took that little trade there against that retest. And we're coming back here to the range again. And again, like I said, could have reasons to trade it if you were a little aggressive, and everybody had different risk tolerances here. So I just suggest different opportunities, and it's up to you as an individual trader based on your risk tolerance to decide whether you want to take them or not. But yeah, I'm trying to explain the risk to you as well. All right, we're just kind of bounced off of that two area there, and now we still have resistance. Our resistance up at the oh 05. Again, whatever you do, make sure you keep your stops in place. He has definitely added some spark to that team with his personality and the people that he knows, and obviously they won their game in a big way. And I think his son is playing. His son is playing his quarterback, so it's pretty impressive actually that he can do that. All right, we top of the range, and kind of just it's very quiet. So patience is very important. All right, we're coming up here to these highs, looking at the oh 05 area as a little resistance. Again, whatever trade we put on, we're always going to keep our stops in place. All right, we just seem to just be stuck here in a little bit of a range. A little resistance at 05, but just not going anywhere fast here. All right, thought we would maybe uptick there to 05, but instead they just jumped it right back down here to the range. Yeah, it's just one of those days today where you have to be very patient and wait for opportunities. Obviously, the market is, we don't create the volatility. All we can do is trade it. And obviously, when there's much going on, our number of trades are going to be limited. Well, if you're a little aggressive there, maybe you took the O2 area, and we talked about a reason why, and earlier, and then again on a retest, and then it's just been staying in a little, for the most part, a 10-point range, not really expanding one way or the other. So have to obviously be a little bit patient here and let the market give us an opportunity to trade. Obviously, it's hard to do because we all feel that we have to trade. But again, you can't trade. Lack of opportunities. It's not a good thing, but it also tests your discipline more than anything else. All right. Very, very quiet little trade. Nothing happening, unfortunately. We do focus on the morning hours to give us our good opportunities. And so kind of tough to stay here all day if nothing's going on. But you know what they say, there's always tomorrow. We obviously with this week with Fed coming out with its FOMC meeting and the results from the meeting, which everybody expects it to be pretty much. They're not going to change interest rates, but it's going to be what's going to be happening in the statement that they release. So we'll see if that gets us some excitement. We do have some housing numbers coming out this week also that'll keep us busy, I think. Hopefully. Just never know. All right. Well, we flushed it all the way back down here to our pivot area here. If you're a little aggressive, maybe you're taking the trade, but nothing much to get too excited about. And also the bounce off of our two area there again. But again, you have to be very aggressive there to take that trade or to pivot here. But again, very, very slow. Got to be very, very patient. We are definitely mired in this 10 point range, and we'll see where it wants to go. Like I said, we have stuff coming out this week that might keep us a little bit busy. So we have to be a little bit patient today and get through today. Don't get yourself in trouble is the point, right? All right. Again, if you did maybe take our little pivot trade there, got a nice little pop back up here. Again, if you were a little aggressive there, again, it was just a range trade, but it's also a reason to get in. It was our pivot there, and like I said earlier, I got to keep your stop in place no matter what. Again, if you were aggressive and wanted to take that little opportunity against our pivot there, if they were looking for a place to buy it in just a little tight range, you have to have reasons to get in, reasons to get out, and we'll try to give you reasons, especially even in a tight range. But obviously, you have to understand the risk in these tight ranges. All right, we've just come back up here to the top of this range. Remember, I said a little support there at the pivot there if you did jump in. Otherwise, it's been very, very quiet. Uh, Tight little range, not much going on. And I keep saying there's always tomorrow. Have to be patient here and wait. We gave you our levels here. I'll repeat the levels again for those of you who might have not written them down. Our pivot this morning is 44.96. Resistance still 5, 14, 22, 30, and 41. And support below at 88, 81, 74, 64, and 54. Again, it's been a relatively quiet morning. Had a couple trades that, depending on how aggressive you want it to be, we talked about our green band and our blue band there, and our minute and hourly respectively, and also a little couple rotations back down to our support area where buying opportunities. But for the most part, it's been a very, very quiet and slow morning as we wait for the FOMC results from their meeting to be literally coming out on Wednesday. But market is here is also taking in the news from the auto workers who are striking. I think that's why we broke on Friday, and now we're just kind of consolidating here to this level. See where we go next. If they come up with something, or if the Fed does say something, or wherever, it might take us next, wherever the market might take us next. Patience is important. Again, we're in very tight 10-point range here, so patience needs to be on premium in this kind of market, and wait for the opportunities to present themselves. I'll get back here in a bit.